Hey guys, it's Noah here, or 5647 Pokemon, whatever you want to call me. And today we're gonna start part 2 of my series of how to care for your pet fancy goldfish. And today we're gonna talk about tank setup. One thing you guys should know is I've been messing around with goldfish for about a year and a half now, and I've learned a lot from YouTube videos, internet sources, book sources. So this is all my knowledge summed up here. So let's dive right in. Alright, so we're going to talk about tank size. One thing about tank size, you're going to want to focus on what kind of fish you want. Do you want single tails, such as like the comet or shimbunkin, which get a lot bigger than the fancies when they're full grown, or the twin tail or double tail fish, which are fancy goldfish, like the Blackmore, Ranchu, Oranda, Ryukin. Sorry, my voice is cracking a little. All those species. So, let's keep going. When thinking about a single-tailed goldfish, such as like what I just said, the comet or shimbunkin, they're gonna need a lot more room than the double tail or fancy goldfish would. They're probably gonna need about 40 gallons per fish. And these single-tailed goldfish are really not meant to be kept in home aquariums. They really thrive in the outdoor pond. But if you really, really want to keep one indoors, 40 gallons per fish, and then like 20 gallons for each additional fish would be about good. So that's double tail, that's single tail goldfish right there. Now let's go on to double tail or fancy goldfish. Fancy goldfish require at least 20 gallons for the first fish and 10 gallons more for each additional fish. So my tank over here is 55 gallon. I've got 4 fish. So 20 gallons for the first fish and 10 gallons for each additional fish. So 20, 30, 40, 50. So I've got 50 gallons worth of fish right there. And let's talk about why you should not get a goldfish bowl. Goldfish bowls really don't have a lot of surface area for gas exchange. And if you don't know, surface area is the top of the water, how much area is on top. So the more area of water that is exposed to the air, the more oxygen you're gonna have in your water. And while bowls seem like a great place to put your goldfish, they really don't have enough room for gas exchange, and therefore your fish will probably suffocate or be tortured for the rest of its life. Also, a lot of people think that if you put your goldfish in a bowl, it will never outgrow the bowl, and that is partially true, but there's a bad thing about it. It will stunt their growth, and they'll never be able to grow to their full potential. So you're always gonna wanna have a really proper tank size for the fish, and not a bowl, which is just cruel. I would call it animal cruelty. It's just very mean. You're torturing the fish its whole life. So do not get a bowl. Bowls are bad. Alright, let's talk about ornaments now. When you're stocking your tank with ornaments, you gotta think. Fancy goldfish run into everything. Their scales aren't that strong. Their fins can easily be ripped. They can easily be scraped, scratched, and their beauty will be lost. So you're gonna want to choose ornaments that are like baby proof. Basically, no edges, points, stuff like that. You're gonna want a baby proof ornament is like let's say a plant, which can't really hurt you. When getting fake plants, I would recommend you get a satin or like some kind of like fabric-y plant instead of like a plastic one that could pop their eyes out or something. And when choosing ornaments for the bubble eye goldfish, such as like Blackmores or the bubble eye species, you're gonna really want to be careful with what ornaments you choose. So now let's talk about lighting. Now, goldfish need really good lighting, just like any other fish. If you want to see their full beauty, you need good lighting. And usually, you're not going to want blue lighting. Blue lighting really encourages algae growth. So, you're going to be careful with that. But daylight lighting is the best. Like, I've got dual T5 Coral Life lights, but they're 10,000K sunlight and 6,000K sunlight. So it mimics a tropical, midday tropical climate, or amount of light. So you're gonna want something that kind of mimics a tropical area with lots of light. So we're getting a light. Think about that. Most lights are very expensive. I know Coral Life was very expensive, and it was like $100 for that one, something like that, 80 around there. And some lights, some fish actually light enhances their color. Like fish that have black, it actually enhances the color of the fish. Some other colors too. Alright, let's get on and talk about why I like having a bare bottom tank and why gravel, I don't like gravel. First of all, gravel for me is a big no, because, you know, waste and old food can get under that gravel, and it starts to rot, and then it can cause serious health issues, like fin rot or ick or any of that stuff. There can, like, diseases like dropsy can be caused by it, actually. So that's dangerous, and even if you do take a gravel cleaner to it, you're not going to get everything that's under that gravel. I guarantee it. I took my gravel out of this tank, and I thought I had everything. I thought the gravel was clean. I took all the gravel out, and it swirled with nasty gunk. Just came out of that gravel, and I was like, I'm never doing gravel again. So that's why I don't have gravel. And why I like bare bottom is because it makes it easier to clean. You can see everything you need to clean, and it makes it easier for the fish to find the food and get the food they need. And if you really want like to enhance your goldfish's color, put a black background on it, or like black, or paint it, or take cardboard, paint the cardboard, put it on the back or underneath. And that's the next thing for me. But it enhances the colors, makes them look a lot more pretty. Now let's talk about aeration. Alright guys, goldfish comes from a species of carp that adapted in rivers to have get lots of air. So rivers, like, you know, they have rapids, they make waves, and these waves expose more water to the air, thus more gas exchange happening. So when thinking about aeration for goldfish, you want to get as much as you possibly can. And you need a lot of CO2 in the tank, or carbon dioxide. Make sure you have a lot of that in the tank. Also, good aeration is probably, you see my aeration over there? That's probably enough for your goldfish, right there. If you want to get like a CO2 unit, that would be good. That would help your fish a lot. Now let's talk about temperature. Alright, goldfish in the home aquariums can easily thrive in the upper 50s and the upper 70s. Goldfish that actually are in the upper 70s tend to be more active and eat more. Thus, in the upper 50 degrees, they're less active and don't eat as much. And actually, colors can change because of heat. Heat can change the color drastically. And in a pond, you're going to want to make sure the whole pond doesn't freeze over in the winter. You can also take your pond fish and move them indoors for the winter, which would really only happen with fancy goldfish, because comets and chibunkins and those kind of goldfish can easily survive a winter. But fancy goldfish are not as hardy as the original comets and chibunkins. And guys, never, ever, 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 ever overstock your tanks. Overstocking a tank would just cause a load of problems for you. I overstocked my tank when I had a 10-gallon. I put 3 goldfish in there, and boy, did I have problems. Ick, never-ending battle with ick. Fin rot was a huge battle. Everybody floated. Everybody The water quality was always horrible. You can never see in it. And I thought, oh, what's wrong? And then I read something. I was like, oh wow, I'm putting way too many fish in this tank that really shouldn't even have one fish in it. So make sure you do not overstock. All that will lead to is problems. So, and before you start adding fish, guys, my next video is going to be on the nitrogen cycle for part 3. So, now watch that video and that'll explain how you can like be ready to put your fish in, how you need the nitrogen cycle before you can put fish in, or your fish will die of new tank syndrome. So make sure to watch that video and please show the support for this series and like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video, guys. Alright, bye.